This is the big one. Firefly Aerospace, FLY, is currently the hottest recovery play in space. They have a 163% revenue explosion, a partnership with NVIDIA, and an $800 million moat with Northrop Grumman. In March 2025, while the rest of the private space sector was struggling with soft landings that ended in tip-overs, Firefly Aerospace did the impossible. Their Blue Ghost lander touched down on the lunar surface with surgical precision. To the world, it was the birth of a new superpower, but to the ticker detective, it was a signal to look at the books. After a string of spectacular alpha rocket failures and a volatile 2025 IPO that saw the stock debut at $45, Firefly is no longer the underdog. It's the phoenix risen from the ashes. In the last 12 months, revenues have exploded by 163%. But with the stock currently trading at a discount near $37, the question isn't whether they can fly. It's whether the investors are being left on the launch pad. Today, we're opening the case file on Firefly Aerospace, ticker symbol FLY. Founded in 2017 and headquartered in Cedar Park, Texas, Firefly is a vertically integrated space company. Unlike competitors who only do one thing, Firefly follows a launch-land-link business model. Launch: the Alpha rocket, small lift, and the upcoming Eclipse, medium lift co-developed with Northrop Grumman. Land: the Blue Ghost lunar lander. In March 2025, they became the first private company to achieve a 100% successful long-duration lunar landing, 300+ hours. Link: the Elytra orbital vehicle. This is a space tug that moves satellites into specific orbits and now hosts the Ocula imaging service. And on April 8, 2026, Firefly dropped the ultimate catalyst that the mainstream media is still trying to decode. They announced a direct collaboration with NVIDIA to embed Jetson AI modules onto their Elytra orbital vehicles. This isn't just a marketing stunt. Deep space communication has a massive bandwidth problem. Sending high-res photos from the moon takes forever. By using NVIDIA's Edge AI brains, Firefly's Ocula service can process lunar mapping, data on orbit, and send back actionable insights instead of raw files. This transforms Firefly from a low-margin delivery service into a high-margin data monopoly. They aren't just the FedEx of the moon, they're building the Amazon Web Services of cislunar space. When you see NVIDIA in a space filing, you aren't looking at a rocket company anymore. You're looking at an AI infrastructure play. Let's look at the financials. If you missed the March 2026 V-bottom at $19, you're now staring at a chart that is vertically overbought. After the NVIDIA announcement on April 8th, FLY surged over 7%, peaking at an intraday high of $41.51. But look closely at the candles from April 9th and 10th. We're seeing long upper shadows, a classic forensic signal that the whales are starting to take profits while retail investors are chasing the hype at the top. The Relative Strength Index, or RSI, is currently screaming overbought. Historically, when FLY hits these levels, we see an average retracement of about 17%. For the ticker detective, the value zone isn't up here at $39. It's back down at the $32 support level, which aligns with the 50-day moving average. If you're buying here, you're betting on a breakout above the 52-week high of $73. But the immediate gravity is pulling us back toward the $30 floor. Firefly's 2025 year-end report was a record breaker. $159.9 million in revenue, a staggering 163% increase year over year. But here is the forensic red flag. They also reported a net loss of $298 million. Firefly is in a race against time. They recently expanded their credit facility by $45 million to fuel their production at the Texas Rocket Ranch. Management is guiding for a massive jump to $450 million in revenue for 2026, backed by a monster $1.4 billion backlog. The contracts are there, but the cash burn is the gravity holding this stock down. They need to scale the alpha launch cadence to at least once a month to reach break even. If they miss one launch window, that backlog starts to look like a liability. But if you're worried about Firefly's survival, you need to look at who is standing in the cockpit with them. Northrop Grumman, a $70 billion defense titan, has hitched its wagon to Firefly. Together, they are co-developing the Eclipse, a medium launch vehicle designed to replace the aging Antares rocket. This partnership is Firefly's insurance policy. By using Firefly's carbon composite structures and Northrop's flight-proven avionics, they are creating a domestic workhorse for the U.S. military. This Northrop moat gives Firefly a level of national security protection that companies like Intuitive Machines simply don't have. They aren't just a startup, they are a junior partner in the global defense machine. Let's weigh the evidence. For the bull case, you have a company growing at 160% with the NVIDIA catalyst now embedding their Jetson AI modules into their hardware. They are the only private company with a 100% successful lunar landing on the books via Blue Ghost Mission 1. They are turning raw lunar photos into real-time AI insights. This shifts them from a hardware company to a SaaS, software-as-a-service company with much higher profit margins. And their partnership with Northrop Grumman on the Eclipse rocket basically guarantees them U.S. government contracts. They are the domestic replacement for rockets that used to rely on Russian engines, with a staggering 163% YOY increase in 2025. They are pacing toward $450 million in 2026, backed by a $1.4 billion backlog. If they hit that $450 million target, FLY is drastically undervalued. As for the bear case, profitability is still miles away. The 2025 net loss of nearly $300 million proves they are still a money incinerator that relies on credit and stock offerings to stay alive. At a price-to-sales ratio of 23 times, the market is already pricing in perfection trading at a 5 times premium compared to the rest of the aerospace industry. And as with any space stock, there is the risk of reliability. Firefly has had hydrocarbon contamination issues in the past, causing catastrophic failures. If the Alpha Flight 7 fails, the stock will crater as investors lose faith in their launch cadence. One more explosion on the pad and the Phoenix becomes a crater. Right now, the institutional consensus on FLY is a moderate buy, but the big banks are currently in a total shouting match over the price tag. Let's look at the spread. On the bull side, you have Cantor Fitzgerald. They've been the lead investigators on this one, and while they recently adjusted their expectations to reflect the high burn rate, they are still waiving an overweight rating. Their high-end target, a staggering $65. That implies an upside of over 70% from current levels if Firefly hits their 2026 launch cadence. Then, you have the bears over at Goldman Sachs. They just moved their price target up from $29 to $32, but they're staying neutral. Their concern: the medium-term pace. They're essentially saying the growth is real, but the cash flow is still a ghost. The average price target across the board is sitting at $38.28. Here's the key takeaway for your portfolio. FLY is currently trading right in the teeth of that average target. The easy money from the March lows is gone. At $38, the market has already priced in a perfect year. For Firefly to hit that $65 bull heaven, they don't just need to fly, they need to prove that the NVIDIA AI integration can actually turn a profit by the end of Q4. Until then, the street is high on the tech, but looking over their shoulder at the balance sheet. Firefly Aerospace is a world-class engineering firm, but a dangerous investment at the 52-week high. The current price of $37 reflects the NVIDIA hype. However, the forensic data suggests a fair value retracement is likely. My buy zone for the case file is the $28 to $30 range. If you can catch FLY during a market dip, you're getting a space prime at a retail discount. Case closed. If you want to see how this compares to my audit of Intuitive Machines, click the video on screen now. Don't forget to sub to the agency for the next investigation. I'll see you at the crime scene.